Hello, everybody. Hello, I'm Brenda Siler, lifestyle writer for the Washington Informer. Thank you for joining us at a special edition of Informer Live because we got our DMV homeboy back with us again, Tony Award winner Myles Frost. And we are so happy that he's been able to visit with us again. And we have so many things to talk about. So we want to get right through with what is happening. Happy holidays to you, Myles. Thanks for being
Happy
with us.
holidays. Of course.
We want to talk a little bit about something big that's coming up, and that is the new film by Ava DuVernay, Origins. It's based on the book by Isabel, um, who has been, it's a wildly acclaimed movie that's coming out now. Tell us about Origin and who you portray in that movie.
Yes. So Origin is a movie based off of the book Cast, written by Isabel Wilkerson. And I have the honor of playing Trayvon Martin in this movie. And it's very interesting because, Trayvon has never been portrayed on film before, on screen. So to be trusted with this honor kind of felt reminiscent of getting Michael Jackson for the first time, when I was on Broadway. But it had a different weight to it, because he's so young, because he sparked so many different things, so many different movements. Like, he had a big hand in Black Lives Matter movement, that kind of thing. He had a big hand in being the catalyst and being the spark for Isabel Wilkerson to even write the book Cast in the first place. So it's, outside of just portraying him, knowing that he's a part of something that's so much larger, um, than just his own passing. I think was really deep, really deep.
Talk to us about how you were cast for this role by Ava DuVernay.
Yes, so I was smack dab in the middle of my run on Broadway as Michael Jackson. And UCA's, who I'm signed with, they sent me an audition. And when I read the audition, I was like, say Trayvon Martin. I'm like, whoa, like this, that's not something you just expect to come across your desk every day. And so I felt like God is saying, hey, I think I can trust you with this. Let's see what you can do. So I sent in a tape for it, and I did not think I was going to get this role. And lo and behold, my agent hit me and says, hey, Myles, Ava wants to have tea with you. She'll be in New York for a hot second, and she wants to sit down and have tea with you and kind of, and have a conversation. So we met at the Carlisle Hotel, and we sat and had some tea, and just she asked me, what did I know about Trayvon Martin? What do I remember? How did it affect my life? What were some similarities between the two of us, and things of that nature. And the last question she asked me, she said, "How do you feel about your hair? You okay with doing something with your hair?" I said, "Look, if you gotta cut it off, you can do whatever you need to do." She said, "Great to know." And I took that as a sign. Maybe I was a little preemptive with that, but I took it as a sign uh, that I could be getting this role. And lo and behold, that was the case.
Well, it worked. Obviously, it worked for you. The movie Origins is going to be in wide release January the 19th. It's already playing in New York and Los Angeles, I believe, but it will be in wider release in a month from now, January the 19th. And we look forward to seeing you in that and seeing how you bring to the screen Trayvon Martin. His murder was a trigger point for so many of us in terms of what we've been saying for decades, for hundreds of years, in terms of what's happening in our communities to us. And
Right.
so good for you for being able to take on this role. But there's a lot of other things going on for you. For example, we saw you here a couple of months ago at the Kennedy Center when you were a part of the National Symphony Pop Orchestra's version of the songs from Rent. You and other talented singers and actors sang all the songs from that musical. That was fabulous. And then
Yes.
again, you're getting more and more credits, pun intended, because tomorrow you graduate from Bowie State University.
I do.
Yay!
Thank you.
How do you,
Thank you.
how do you feel about that? You promised your
Ooh,
grandmother you would do it, right?
you know, as a young man, it's nothing. There's no greater feeling than promising something to someone and you fulfilling that promise, regardless of how long it takes. And that promise, as you know, as we all know at this point, something I promised my grandmother prior to me even starting MJ. That was the contingency. Like that was the caveat. The caveat was, okay, my grandma was like, look, if you do this Broadway thing, I'm gonna support you, but you got to go back to school. You have to finish school. And I said 100%. And my grandmother is 90 years young, and she is still jazzy. She's still sharp, and she will be at my graduation tomorrow. And I could not have imagined that she would, and I would assume neither could she, that she would see in a matter of 2 years, see all the success, that I've had, and then having my graduation being the cherry on top. So I'm beyond blessed, tremendously.
We are so happy for you. What's your major? What has been your major?
Music technology or audio engineering.
Okay, and that feeds right into your singing voice and some other things that you want to do in music. So we're excited for you tomorrow. And again, congratulations. And
Thank you.
then you will be heading to London right after the first of the year because you will open in London in MJ. So you're not letting
Yes.
MJ go. MJ, you're taking it all over. And I believe it hits the stage in March of
Yes. So
2024.
yep. So
How
March
are you
6th
preparing?
is previews. Oh, say sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say March 7th is previews, and March 26th is opening night at the Prince Edward Theater. I'm super excited. It's an honor. It's an honor to be. It feels like my baby. MJ is. I originated the role, so I'm very particular. I'm very. I care a lot about this company. I care a lot about Michael. And how he's represented and portrayed. So I feel like the people who weren't able to come to New York and have that experience, who live overseas will be able to get the opportunity to come to the Prince Edward and see the show and see the magic that this show has. And I'm super excited for that. Super excited.
Well, you've been doing so many things. So you've been away from MJ for a while. How do you get geared up again to put that back on the stage?
Yeah, I mean, well, in the meantime, I've been working on my own music. I have a few projects coming out next year, a couple singles, and I've completed my album. It's a self-titled album. That's what I've been working on in between that time. I'm always working, you know. But as we, ramp up to go into London, you know, I have a lot of things that I know now that I didn't know my first time around. From an
Right.
endurance standpoint, an energy exertion standpoint,
Mhm.
a bodily care that I just did not know, didn't take into account, and honestly didn't care about when I first, started doing MJ. Um, it was very it was MJ for me was just a learning process. I learned about my body, I learned about my spirit, I learned a lot about my mental health. So I think taking those
Right.
things into account going into London is something that I can do preemptively and be proactive in, uh, like how I was not proactive doing Broadway. So I'm gonna be much more prepared going into London than I did when I started.
So that's wonderful that you've been able to really understand what it truly takes to do that role. And yes, stamina is one thing. We've been seeing, I saw you dancing with Chris Tucker on Instagram. I was like, is that part of you always like dueling Michael Jackson's? I said, oh, is that part of you staying in the character?
Not at all. I
I
mean,
didn't know.
Chris has become something of a mentor to me in many ways, and I've had the distinct pleasure of even being a part of that relationship. I've not a lot of people who portray Michael in any capacity have gotten to do the things and build the relationships that I've been blessed to build. With Michael's kids. Prince and I are like this. I love Paris with all my heart. BG is an amazing person as well. Marlon Tito and Jackie have all supported me in so many different ways. And like I said, Chris Tucker is a addition to that as well. And it's just been pouring so much love and so much support, into me and how I represent Michael. And but not only that, but just me as a person. Like, Chris sees me as Myles, not just as somebody who portrays his friend Michael. And that's what I really appreciate about Chris.
That's wonderful. We didn't know that from the first time we chatted, that you've gotten very close to Michael's family and his
Mhm.
friends. And that is great in terms of what you can contribute, continue to contribute to that role. And we want to
Yeah.
thank you for being with us today. I know your schedule is tight. Ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, we have been talking to Myles Frost, Tony Award winning actor from MJ. He's got a full plate. In fact, his plate is running over. He is going to be in the upcoming movie Origins, portraying Trayvon
Mhm.
Martin. That movie produced and directed by Ava DuVernay. He is graduating from Bowie State University tomorrow. Yay! I was expecting you to wear your cap and gown today. I don't know why I thought you would put that on, but
It's,
just
it's,
just because, just because, and then because you get it in advance. I was just thinking maybe he'll do that,
uh,
and then he is going to leave right after the first of the year to London to open MJ in London in March of next year. So happy holidays to you. Continued
thank
success in your career. Don't forget about us here. We want to continue to keep up with you. And thank you again so much. I want to let our audience know that this Friday, Win TV Let's Talk will be back with some of the best of conversations we've been having over the past few months. So please join us. Look for Myles on Instagram at Myles dot, what, say that again, Myles Frost, Myles dot Frost on Instagram. To learn more about Origins, it's at Ava, and that's for Ava DuVernay. Thank you, everybody, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays.